Good morning, everyone. I am Uraiwan from Burapha University, Thailand, and today it's my pleasure to present our corporate in the title Digital Skill Assessment and Personalized Course Recommendation for Sustainable Workforce Development. Today, first, I will brief the motivation and background, and then I will show the framework we do the research, and then we will show the methodology for make the digital skill assessment and how to correct the data and the method that we use to evaluate to decide the learner personal by clustering. And finally, I will conclude the result from our research. Today in Thailand, the digital economy is changing. So from industry and education, we try to find something to assessment for the skill gap. Nowadays, Thailand Digital Competency Initiative, the organized ETDA try to design the digital assessment in the Thailand Digital Competitive Framework under the X skill domain and T competency level. So our research try to use this skill for this knowledge to design the personal for optimize the learner, because it's very hard to use the program in training in Thailand to train our population, because each people have the personal right. It's not the same. So this paper try to get this knowledge to decide that which personal cost is suitable for each person. So for our research, try to overcome this challenge under three objectives. First, we try to develop a digital skill assessment tool, and second, we try to identify learner persona using K-mean clustering, and finally, we try to generate personalized course recommendation. And the first thing, how we try to design the digital assessment, we use three steps to design. First, we use design thinking to cap the real personal that Thai people want. This idea try to empathy the user and define the real assessment. And the second, we use lean. That is mean we try to do repeat loop to define that how to develop the skill assessment. And finally, we use the idea from Agile to ensure scale and adapt. Because in Thailand, we have the many sectors that need to change the skill, so that we use the Agile development to gathering the idea from all users. And after we design the digital skill assessment, we try to make the question cover the skill that EDA declare. The digital skill has 8 domains. First is about data analytics and visualization. Second, green sustainability. Third, AI, digital literacy. Fourth, leadership. 5, creative design. 6, government service design. 7, cybersecurity. And the last is digital role. From this one, we make the assessment to write it, and we define the assessment structure in 3 proficiency level, consists of beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And after the user come to use this application, it will assessment, right? This one by radar graph, and it will show that the result is touch the goal that organize want or not. From this data, we try to correct the overall from the user, info group, from government agency, SME, private company, and the last one, education. We gathering from the workshop online and the workshop on site from 207 participants. And when we have the data, right assessment in the egg sector from 207, then now our research use this data to decide the personal cost. So what is the tool that we use to decide? We use algorithm K-mean to identify the learner persona based on skill capital with design by EDA. And we use to cluster validate from QA score to measure cohesion and separation. And the second, David Borin index to evaluate cluster distance to define the optimal K. And we also use PCA for visualize in the schedule the data that it can separate in good or not. So we use PCA for 2D cluster visualization. And the first experiment, we use the raw data to run clustering by K-mean, and we use QA score and David Borin index to show that which K is suitable to decide the personal from 207 persons that we gathering from assessment tool. And we found that the third is suitable to separate the persona. So then we visualize the second thing that how is separate, distribute the people from 200 in each cluster. And we found that if we shoot 5 and 6, it's not suitable because the percentage for each group is very less. So then we survey in the next to compare between K equal to T and K equal to 4. Because we have the data from T in 8 dimension that's evaluate, which I mentioned in the first slide that we assessment each people T digital skill, egg digital skill, and we also to measurement time. So the data have dimension. It's very hard to measure that it's good to separate or not. So then we use a PCA technique to reduce dimension into 2 dimensions, and then we use the scatter graph to see that how about the data to overlap together. And we found that the K equal to T is okay. So the next, we use the radar graph to check that how it overlap when we use to separate for in T group. And we found that it also in cluster 2 and T, although it is very good to separate in dimension the time, but it's not good to XQ because 2 and T is overlap in the same dimension. However, we represent the centroid for each cluster to represent that if we use 4, how is the character. The second experiment, we found from this one that in each choice, the range of data in time is so very over more than data in another dimension. So then we use the technique for normalization time, and then we also come back to do the same loop to use the k-mean, and we found that if we use the data to pass the normalized data, we found the k equal to 2 is okay. And then we come back the same step to check the distribution and also to check the how about it the segment the data, and now this is can separate. But after we normalize the k, it's very clear to separate two group or three group. So after that, we use the centroid in each group to declare the character of each personal class. So then we can summarize that the first group, character 0, is have the character digital integrated, and the cluster 1 is the digital start, and this is the detail that in each cluster. And the third experiment, we use the technique for hierarchical clustering to assessment. This one we use to decay and try to integrate the core together. And we found that we can use this one to decay the core, right? The first, this cluster, we can indicate data analysis and AI literacy together. And in the high-level group, we can separate in T group. And this is the last that after we use the technique to measurement the type of the cluster, and this is the persona type for each course. So for our research, we can use the k-mean to identify the persona code and correlation to design and guide integrate curriculum design. And in the future, we plan to expand this testing across diverse regions and all complication to cover in Thailand and deploy the persona code for national deployment. And this is the overall, and our research can support from Burapha University in 2 faculty and also ETDA and National University. Thank you.